So the part 2, the questions that strong women are afraid to ask. I'm gonna answer them here. So hyper-independence doesn't look like fear at all. It looks like more capability. It looks like, I've got it, I can handle it, and it's easier for you just to do it yourself. And let me tell you that you're not cold, you're not avoidant because you don't care, you're not broken whatsoever. You're someone who learned that very intelligently that relying on yourself was the safest option available. This is so intelligent. This is body's weight intelligence. It's incredible. So today in this video, I want to speak like really directly to the questions the strong woman care but really admit. I want to be the voice for them. So what this means actually to decode instead of like self-manage and control. So the first question is, why do I feel irritated when people offer help? This question scares a lot of shame, to be honest. You want support in theory, but when it shows up, your body goes tense, goes tightens, because help feels very inefficient, clumsy, intrusive, and here's why. Hyper-independence is not a personality trait, as most women make, like, I believe in that, right? Like really, it's nervous system adaptation. Because at some point in your life, help was unreliable, it was conditional, it was disappointing, or came with emotional house. So really the intelligence here that your body learned that if I depend on myself, I stay regulated. So the coding starts like really by honoring this strategy, but not disseminating it with the force, right? So the second question is, why vulnerability feels exhausting and not relieving? So for hyper-independent women, vulnerability isn't scary, it's actually tightening often, because vulnerability requires a few things, and that is requires slowing down internal process, internal control, and tracking, because you track down another person's emotional state, and you're tolerating uncertainty. Your nervous system didn't wire for that, it wired for efficiency. So this is why you intellectualize feelings, you self-soothe privately, you share like very selectively, or if at all, you recover always alone. So the coding teaches you to like difference between collapse vulnerability and regulated openness. It's very different. So you don't need to open more. You need your body to feel safe enough to manage everything alone. I hope that answers the question. Next question. Why do relationships feel like work I didn't sign up for? Good question, right? So hyper-independent women often excel in systems. So careers, really logistics, problem solving, but relationships, they are freaking messy and predictable. They're emotionally inefficient, and somewhere inside you thinks, this would be easier if I were alone. And not because you don't want to love, right? But because intimacy activates dependency pathways your nervous system never practiced safely. So it's a threat. So decoding doesn't ask you to surrender to your autonomy. It shows you how to add connection without losing like a self-trust connection to your body too, right? Question 4. Why do I struggle to receive compliments, care, and love? Receiving requires something. Hyper-independent exists passively. And when someone gives to you anything, your body asks a few questions. What do you want from me? What do they want back? Will I own them? Will this destabilize me? So you deflect, you minimize, you outgive, and decoding works at the level of deserving without earning. And you don't block receiving because you're closed. You block because your nervous system really equates receiving with risk. This is how it feels in your body. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Question 5. Why am I afraid what will happen if I stop being so capable? This is the quietest question of all. If you stop holding everything together, who would you be? So hyperdependence often hides like grief that has never been witnessed, needs that were never met, and softness that never had safe place to land. So decoding isn't about really becoming dependent, it's really about releasing the belief that only effort keeps you safe. And you're allowed to be supported without losing control of your life. Absolutely, yes. And question 6, what decoding does for hyper-independent women? So really decoding helps you to do a lot of things. The most important things that identify where your self-reliance became like self-isolation, and distinguish between survival, regulate closeness without like really shutting down and losing yourself, and of course stay autonomous and be unconnected, right? So you don't stop being strong. You don't. This is just who you are. You're gonna be strong forever. You stop being alone inside your strength. That's different. So you wanna detach the strength from the fear. That's the true liberation. And if this didn't hit you emotionally, but landed quietly, logically, and deeply, that is hyper-independence recognizing itself. So decoding isn't dramatic, it's really precise. And I created 3 archetype guide. So as a starting point, and for one ready to go, and for one some who ready to go deeper, have a full training, decoding is ready. And decoding offers a like structured way to unhook from like self-care as an identity, you know. There's no pressure, no collapsing, just awareness at the level that actually creates change. So links are below. Let your nervous system move at its own pace.